Recorded in their mother's basement, Super Nerdland brings you Graded Point 5, where in a comic book it would be worth less than the polybag it comes in.
Hey everybody, welcome to Graded Point 5. Got some really interesting speculation this week. Disney's D3 is going on at the time of this recording, and they've got some big Marvel displays going on. In fact, today they showed off the Black Order, but they've apparently renamed them like the Children of Thanos or some shit. But it's still the Black Order from Infinity a couple years back. But one really interesting bit that's been coming out is something Daryl actually told me.
Yeah.
Go ahead and enlighten the people.
Well, okay. This involves spoilers for Spider-Man Homecoming. Alright, so at D23, Marvel has this, this setup, and they've got these 4 characters under Shroud, right? And there's also been a picture floating around of the Avengers Tower, or formerly Stark Tower, adorned with a 4 logo. And fans of the comic books know what that means, or what it could be implying.
And now, mind you, at the same time, Disney has shit going on cross-promotion with Fox.
Right. Now, so when coupled with this little tidbit of information from Spider-Man Homecoming, which is that, Tony Stark sold Avengers Tower to somebody, an unnamed person or group, it's being heavily speculated that, Marvel may just have worked something out with Fox to use the Fantastic Four in Infinity War.
Now, I don't think this is going to become, this is the Baxter Building. I think it's going to be the late, 90s Four Freedoms Tower they had.
Right.
Yeah. That giant tower that culminated in a giant fucking 3D 4 at the top.
Yeah, and that's kind of what the image I saw was evocative of. But this is all, fucking rumor and conjecture and speculation and shit, so take it with a grain of salt. But if true, then this, has some really great implications for Infinity War and potentially beyond.
And it only makes sense. Fantastic Four has been called the first family of Marvel for fucking decades.
I gotta back it up a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Kevin Feige, you son of a bitch, you rused us.
What did Kevin Feige do? What?
Feige.
Oh, saying that the Fantastic Four would never...
Yeah, Kevin Feige confirms no MCU Fantastic Four, at least, quote, right now. Yeah, right now as of June 17, 2017. But next month...
Yeah. And see, this is all... And Mark Ruffalo's been on Twitter fucking saying, hey, there's going to be some big shit at D23. Of course, we now know that part of that is the Infinity War trailer.
Mm-hmm.
But that still leaves some room, because he kind of said it in a way that implied there was going to be multiple fucking big things, shown. So we're hoping that I mean, because we've talked about this before in terms of villains and shit, especially if any of you guys out there haven't read the fucking Infinity War trailer synopsis, go do it now, because the scope of what they're showing almost precludes any other fucking villain from being nearly as intimidating going forward. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Aside from, say, maybe Galactus.
Yeah.
So...
God, Emperor Doom?
Well, yeah. But see, even the Doom shit, all folds back into the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
See, now I've got this, I'm playing future ball here. Of course, we already know, I guess we can kind of figure that they might show up in Infinity War Part 1, I guess, because we're still going with Part 1.
Right.
Can you imagine all this shit's going down on Earth, and then like you said, the new owners of the Avengers Tower, they're sitting there watching it, and all of a sudden, this big rock-looking guy comes out and says, "What a revolting development this is!"
And then just yells, "It's Clobberin Time," and runs in.
Yep.
Yeah. And even if it, even if it's just staged to set up future Fantastic Four shit, kind of the way that Tom Holland's Spider-Man was in Civil War,
Yeah.
It would still kind of blow my mind. I'll be honest, the Fantastic Four was never my favorite fucking comic book. And the team, I just couldn't relate to Reed Richards. I mean, I admired the intelligence and shit like that, but he just
I'll be honest.
I think he was Marvel's first aspie, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm being honest, like the only character I really liked out of the Fantastic Four was Ben.
Ben,
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah,
and,
he's just
because Ben was like the most relatable one, you know.
he's eminently likable. He's
It's funny that the guy who got
street guy,
the guy who got fucked over by cosmic rays and is usually down on himself about that is like the most likable and relatable character.
Exactly, and dude's got heart and soul and shit. Mm-hmm. He's most relatable. Sue was never somebody I was interested in. She just, and I like Johnny to an extent, but yeah, for the most part, the heart and soul of the team for me when I did read it was Ben. I was always fascinated when shit was happening to him or involved him.
I would when I used to buy back issues at like this local place that would like sell like old comics stuff. I would buy Marvel 2-in-1 because it had Thing in it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I was like, oh, Thing,
And just having the Thing in the Marvel Cinematic Universe would fucking open up so many possible. I mean, just imagine him trying to go toe-to-toe with Thanos and shit.
Now, the D23 did give us one downside. Those 4 covered figures were not the Fantastic Four, sadly. Though they did look pretty good for what is supposed to be the Black Order / Sons of Thanos in the movie.
Or Children of Thanos,
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there was a female in there, but Children of Thanos.
Yeah, exactly.
To be fair, if you've read the comics...
gender-neutral Children of Thanos.
If you've read the comics, she's not much of a woman.
Oh, shit. But, I mean, the footage, the descriptions of the footage all culminate in Thanos using the gauntlet to fucking... to bring a planet or a moon down on wherever the fuck they are. Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. And that's just with 2 Infinity Stones.
He hasn't got at that point. He doesn't have them all yet, does he?
Nope.
Ooh.
The Tesseract comes into play, and fucking Loki apparently hands it to somebody. Most likely, one of the children of Thanos or whatever. It took him like 12 fucking 12 years, but he finally got around to delivering it. So, but yeah.
I told you I'd get you, fam. It just took me a while. It's fine.
Yeah. There's some great descriptions of like Doctor Strange working in tandem with Star-Lord and shit. Oh, It's gonna be great. And apparently Kevin Feige. Oh, this is the same guy who said the Fantastic Four shit, which we will, within the coming months know whether or not that was true or not. So, but he said he wasn't going to release they weren't going to release the trailer until sometime later this year.
Yeah.
But it's like, I get holding it off for con attendees and shit, but like after that shit over, fucking release that on the internet. The hype will be through the fucking roof.
Yeah, it's like the situation we got now is basically in the interview that Feige did was no Fantastic Four, there is no deal working, to get the X-Men. And then he said some kind of dumb things. It's like, I don't even think people really know who the X-Men are anymore. I'm like, well, if you read Marvel Comics, you wouldn't, but...
Right. Yeah, dude, thanks to your efforts to kill all the fucking comic book franchises that you don't own the film rights to.
Yeah. It's like, I've been a proponent for a while. Just write Fox a check.
Yeah,
and
fuck
get it over with.
Why not just go the other way around? Buy Fox.
I mean,
Disney has the money.
That's true, but then you would run into antitrust issues because they they also own a news organization and Fox has a news organization, so. It gets a little complicated at that point. So,
well, then buy their movie arm.
Just say buy the movie. Yeah, buy the movie, right? Yeah, buy the movie. Studio.
And think about it this way too: like Sony's Spider-Man franchises were more successful, I think, than the Fox's 2 Fantastic Four. Versions or whatever. And if Sony is willing to throw in with Marvel and let them do all the heavy lifting while they get a chunk of the pie, why wouldn't Fox do the same?
Well, because Fox is still making money right now.
They are on the X-Men franchise.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Sony in general,
was like
film arm
eating.
They
were eating shit as far as. I mean, it was so bad that they thought they were going to have to sell like the PlayStation brand just to keep afloat.
Oh no shit!
Yep.
Yeah, that's how bad it was for a little while.
I know they were thinking about selling their other electronics branches and shit, but I didn't know that the
it was actually
brand,
it was a strong consideration that there was talks they were going to sell their the Sony, the PlayStation brand, but it didn't work. It turned out good because at least the PS4 was successful. If it hadn't been, they would have been eating shit right now.
So. That is true. I suppose with Fox, that's a different beast altogether. They do have several tentpole franchises they had, kind of lean on. And
I mean, they got Deadpool did markedly better than they thought it would. And that was just because you had creators who loved the character, and that's why it turned out so well. I heard Logan. I haven't seen it yet, but I heard Logan was really good.
Oh, it's amazing!
It's great. It's great.
So
honestly, it was the best X-Men movie because it wasn't a superhero movie.
Right. Now, I do still think that the third act falls into the same pitfalls that Mangold's the Wolverine movie fell into.
Yeah.
Towards the end, but it is still overall it's great. You need to watch it, Wayne.
And then I heard when you buy the Blu-ray, you get the Wolverine Noir, and I heard that's like
the black and white cut.
Yeah. That just makes it, puts another depth on it, pretty much.
I have the movie digitally, legitimately, mind you.
Right.
I'm actually thinking about going out and buying a Blu-ray copy just to get that noir cut.
Yeah, because I've heard a lot of good things about it. People said if you want to see it, that's the way to see it.
And the cool part is, noir cut, makes everything black and white, but it absolutely changes nothing about Caliban.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, Caliban, great fucking character.
Oh yeah. What was it? Stephen Merchant?
Stephen Merchant.
I think? Yeah, does a great job. And you really feel for Caliban by the end.
And his big scene in the start of the third act, I admit, when it happened, I teared up.
Yeah. Just the way Pierce was fucking with him, too.
Yeah.
Shit, just,
What was it like where it goes, beware the light, I think it was?
Yeah.
And then just drops the things he had in his hand? I'm trying not to spoil it for Wayne.
Right. That's fine. Yeah.
But there's some fascinating shit, too, with Xavier's psychic seizures and shit. Oh, it's a great movie. But to bring this back on track, I guess you are right in that sense. They've got a successful X-Men franchise, including Deadpool. They don't need to do this, but if they want Fantastic Four to be a viable thing, and given that they made the investment into the property, I'm sure they want to, I would think that they would be better off, pulling a Sony in this regard and just saying, look, you guys do all the heavy lifting, and we'll get a nice fat chunk of that for essentially, nothing.
Right.
And there's really no downside to it. I mean, Frank's Fantastic Four was a fucking flop. Some people like it. I think it's trash, but...
Talking about that last one?
Yeah, Josh Trank's Fantastic Four.
Oh, that garbage fire?
Yeah. And Trank likes to blame it on the studio, but I'm sure it was as much him as it was the fucking...
Well, Trank, right? Fantastic Four remake?
Yeah.
The rumors and the stories I heard coming out was half the time Josh Trank was sitting in back with Miles Teller, who played Reed Richards, fucking doing coke.
Yeah. Now, there was a lot of fighting on the set and shit, and just bad vibes all around. It was never going to be a good movie under him.
Now, Wayne, you were saying Fox is doing good with Marvel, with X-Men rather.
I said relatively. I didn't say
here's. Adjusted for ticket inflation, mind you, the highest grossing X-Men movie is Deadpool with an adjusted gross of about $373 million. Mind you, adjusted by gross, that wouldn't even put it in... It would put it barely in the top 10 of Marvel property by gross.
Right. Well, in that case, you
got to look at it as another way, too. Excuse me. Is that how much they put into it versus what they got.
That's
very true. Yeah. Deadpool was made on a shoestring budget.
Yeah,
comparatively,
right.
Yeah, and it became a blockbuster because they did it well.
I think the first couple X-Men movies, in particular, were released at a time when superhero movies were still relatively untested in the market. I mean, we had I think by that time we had a couple successful Blade movies.
Yeah.
But
nobody really equated those to a comic book movie.
Yeah, people did not realize Blade was a Marvel comic property, I don't think. Just...
Right.
Even though all the movies were headed by a Marvel logo.
Right.
Nobody ever went, oh, this was a comic book? It's an action movie series,
Yeah.
Right.
But I think we've had enough speculation. Let's get into the meat and bones of this fucking episode, shall we? Which is, of course, Fin Fang Foom.
Like, why does a dragon need underpants? That's what I always wondered.
Because they don't make diapers big enough.
I mean, I guess.
Oh shit! I never realized that he wears a fucking little shorts.
Little Speedo, yeah.
Here's the thing, though. The final say, for me at least, on this. I want Fantastic Four under Marvel's tentpole for one reason and one reason only. I want the big screen Ben versus Bruce.
Ooh, yeah. Me too.
Well,
awesome.
I
not just that,
but Ben fucking bearing down, yelling it's clobbering time, and Bruce just hulks out and then Hulk smash.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
And they hit each other, and then glass shatters 5 blocks down the street and shit like that.
Fucking crater opens up, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like the Hulkbuster fight, but on a whole new level.
Yeah.
If the Hulkbuster fight didn't suck.
But see, I'm excited that what the possibilities will be for the Marvel. Because Kevin Feige has said that the end of Phase 3 marks a new direction for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, right? Mm-hmm. I think that is best facilitated with the Fantastic Four. That's something we haven't seen yet in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it brings a lot of villains and characters into the universe that could open it up in a whole new direction.
The thing is, they've said Phase 4 might not be a phase. It may just be the opening of Marvel Cosmic. Which, I hate to admit it, but you really can't do Cosmic without the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Right. They kind of
opened the door for that whole thing to be there.
Right.
Also, I'm just going to say it. If they get, Fantastic Four, they're getting a shitload of villains. Besides Doom.
Yeah, right.
Don't get me wrong. I want Doom.
I mean, they get Mole Man. They get.
We're gonna get that Mole Man. Yeah, I was gonna say they're gonna
Annihilus.
Annihilus, right there. Annihilus and Blaster.
Yeah.
And what about Kang?
Oh yeah.
Kang.
Like
the Immortus War.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got so much potential there, and
even if they go team v team and they do the Frightful Four, which was
yes.
That was always interesting because
I wouldn't mind seeing the Wizard on the big screen.
Marvel Phase 4 in the middle, we get Marvel Zombies.
And no, that would be the point where it's I not only stop buying Marvel movies.
Yeah, it's jumping the shark big time at that point. But
I don't know if done well, if done in a certain way, it could work.
Done non-canonically.
Actually, yeah, kind of a what if type.
It would definitely have to be a work. It would have to be that deal. That deal with Fox would have to be worked out because that would have to involve Deadpool.
Oh yeah.
Because Deadpool would be the only one who's wait a second, something ain't right here. What's going on?
Of course, all that shit. If they stick, I can imagine them adapting it. Not having the Ultimate Reed Richards involved and shit like that. It's just But with something that big, it would have to, with the ramifications of it and shit, it would have to take place outside. I'd rather see a Marvel Zombies animated movie, actually.
I think it would probably be better animated, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's look at the comic side, because last I knew this was actually supposed to be a comic show. Mm-hmm. Yes. I'm not sure. I don't really pay attention to my own fucking project.
I've never listened to an episode.
I never have either, honestly.
Y'all promised me cake and I show up. No, fuck.
But there will be no cake, Wayne.
Daryl, I know you and I have had this discussion. We don't read Fantastic Four comics.
No, and that's the thing. Even when they were around, I thought the best Fantastic Four stories were the ones involving other characters and shit.
Exactly.
Like when they were in the thick of something else, I found them tolerable and actually enjoyable at times. But as a standalone group, I just never really got into them.
It honestly, for me, it was they try to pull it off too high concept.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that, yeah.
It's we got this galaxy or universe fucking hopping family that their stories are just as boring? Much. Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, their child is God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, a god, but still.
It's just there's families add a new dynamic that you don't see often in Marvel. Sure. Like, outside of the Power Pack, I can't really think of another group that is blood family.
Right. But, like, the Runaways had that kind of family dynamic and shit, too. But, yeah, as far as, like, blood family goes, like, a entire family of superheroes, it is kind of unique within the Marvel Universe, you know?
The only thing that comes... Actually, now I think about it, the only thing that comes close is the Inhumans royal family.
Yeah.
And that even is, like, they're mostly, like, cousins.
A bunch of cousin fucking.
But I think like was it Black Bolt and Maximus are
brothers,
yeah. But I think the rest of them, like you said, are cousins. Yeah.
Gorgon's a cousin, Karnak's a cousin, yeah, etc. Lockjaw's the
Crystal,
family pet.
by the way.
Crystal's
one of those Inhuman Fantastic Four crossovers. Right?
Isn't she like Medusa's sister?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Johnny was tapping the ass, or was that Quicksilver?
No, first it was Johnny, then Quicksilver married her.
Yep.
Right.
And then after Secret War, when they did the Marvel Now initiative, Johnny was banging Medusa.
Ooh.
Oh, shit.
Apparently. Had some kind of relationship with her. I never read it because it's Marvel Now. Who cares?
Right. But I will say that family dynamic, though, was kind of like... It was unique within comic books, and that kind of shit is what made Marvel unique. You know, like the family dynamic of the Fantastic Four, the everyday kind of everyman quality of Spider-Man and shit like that. You know, and
they were more rooted in things that you can identify with.
Right, and in that respect, you know, I could dig the Fantastic Four. I mean, I'll be honest, I never really had a great sense of family because I spent a good 10 years of my life in foster care where nobody gave a shit about me. Right.
Yeah.
So. Me, you know, it didn't really resonate, but it's something I can appreciate now, you know, years later.
I'm in the same boat. Like, my family life was shattered really early on.
Right. And that was kind of why it was appealing to me later on in life, too, because, like, it was something that I would have liked to have had, you know?
Yeah.
And I did have until events kind of pulled me away from that, you know?
Yeah.
But
I mean, let's look at the individual Fantastic Four from the comics. Reed Richards, fucking one of the, like, what, 3 smartest people in Marvel?
Mm-hmm.
Could stretch himself to obscene lengths, basically turn himself into things by using, like, elasticity of his body.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a cool power, honestly. But I felt like 9 times out of 10, when you saw him using it, it was literally, he didn't want to get his lazy ass up to get that beaker from the other side of the room.
Yeah. Yeah, so, you know what? I can't think of one. I mean, granted, this may be because I haven't read too many of the books, but I can't think of one case where he really used his power in the books that I had read that was really interesting. It was mainly just like, I'm going to stretch my body around this thing or that thing, and
I'm going to turn into like a parachute or an umbrella or, you know, allow people to fall into me kind of thing.
Yeah. But, you know, I feel like that kind of power, you know, makes for some potentially creative uses, and it very well could have been that came into play in the books, but not in anything I read.
From what I read, because I did read quite a bit, especially during like the Infinity stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Required reading, folks.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like one of the cool things, like when he took on his doppelganger and they're fighting, and it's just like those two, like him and his doppelganger, just stretched out all over the place in his lab.
Yeah.
You know, it was really crazy. I said, man, I said whoever that artist was, they need to pay him double because that was.
Was that the one where he was like stretching in and out and around things and shit, and they were all tangled up and everything.
Yeah. Because like what does a stretchy guy do? I mean, basically, stretchy guys are, you know, they have some offensive, but mostly their defense. You know, they're trying to stop the person from moving.
Right.
So other teammates can do other stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah,
which surprisingly played into the 10-story Fantastic Four movie. You know, like he did use his powers in that, you know, in that way.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
Now let's look at.
I'm ashamed to admit I've watched that.
Sue Richards, Sue Storm, same difference.
Yeah.
Power to turn invisible and cause force fields.
Mm-hmm.
She honestly should have been a fucking S.H.I.E.L.D. character.
She is probably the most powerful character on the team.
She would have been like, could you imagine spies with that kind of power?
Mm-hmm.
Sue Storm, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. would have been fucking tight.
And they talked about, like, when she had, because she had a doppelganger, but it wasn't like the regular doppelganger, you know, for during Infinity War. It was, I forgot what the chick's name was, but it was basically her evil side.
Yeah.
Sue's evil side. And she was talking about, and this just gives you an idea of what she is capable of versus what she, you know, kind of won't go there. Now think about this. You know, you talking about she can make force field stuff. Think about, you can make a force field inside your brain.
Yep. Cause an aneurysm.
And cause an aneurysm. Yeah. She can, and then it would disappear and you would have no evidence of it happening.
Or she could fill your lungs with solid, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, fucking. Ooh.
She could really fuck you up if she wanted to.
Or, you know, just put a bubble around your head and cut off oxygen.
Mm-hmm. But she's done. She has done that. She did it to the Hulk, if I remember correctly.
Yep. But she only did it to the point of knocking him out. Like, this is somebody who, if they wanted to, could fucking straight up kill somebody doing that.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay,
You can make solid constructs too, right?
Let's get to arguably the most annoying character of the Fantastic Four, Johnny Storm.
I was going to say Franklin Richards? No, I don't know.
We'll get to him. But Johnny has actually kind of not a good power once you realize it was recycled. Including his fucking codename, the Human Torch.
Yep.
He can set himself on fire, fly, create plasma blasts, up to the level of the sun.
Mm-hmm.
If he wanted to, he could single-handedly go supernova. It sounds cool, but then you realize with his personality being that of a emotionally stunted man-child, all he wants to do is impress the women.
Yep.
Yay, you know?
Hey, baby, would you like a piece of this hot cock?
And if anybody says yes to that, they're fucking idiots.
Yeah.
Human flesh does melt, you know?
Yeah. I know, this is why I don't actually show my face on camera. I'm a fucking burn victim. Terrifying.
Yeah. Daryl watched the first Fantastic Four movie and tried to be the Human Torch.
Yeah. No, I just watched the first Fantastic Four movie. That's...
Yeah. It's like opening the Ark of the Covenant.
Exactly, dude. It's only by virtue of the fact that I fucking squinted through my melting eyelids to see the stop button that I wasn't just reduced to bone. Oh shit! We're stupid.
Johnny's obviously the womanizer of the group, the party animal, and for some reason did not cross over with Iceman as much as you probably should have.
Right.
Yeah.
Dude, that'd be a great team up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Johnny's done some heroic things over the years, but...
Oh, yeah. Stood up to a nihilist.
Yeah, and most of those is when he ended up dying.
Uh-huh.
And then coming back.
Yeah.
I didn't die. I was just hanging out in the negative zone, guys.
Well, in that one, he did die. They just kept bringing him back to try to get information out of him, and he wouldn't do it. So they kept killing him, bringing him back over and over and over.
It's like, dude, after the second time you've killed me, I'm just kind of like, I'm over it. Yeah. Like,
yeah.
You're going to bring me back.
Like, I already know where I'm going at this point. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You know,
well, even before that, just because... Okay, let's talk about this storyline, Wayne. I know this is going to rustle your jimmies.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when Ben died?
Yes.
And they invaded heaven?
Yep.
And God was Jack
heaven
Kirby?
to get him back?
And God was Jack Kirby. Yep. I remember this.
Which, don't get me wrong, that's a cool idea. If there was a God in the Marvel Universe, it would have to be Standard Jack.
Yeah.
So wait, they invaded heaven to, what, drag his ass back?
To get God to give up Ben's soul.
Yeah.
And the funniest thing is they succeeded, and how the Jack Kirby stand-in for God brought him back was drawing him back into reality.
Oh.
Like on an artist table.
You gotta admit, that's pretty cool. I mean,
now, part of me thinks that Joss Whedon fucking read that comic book as a kid and then made that episode of Buffy.
Well, you say as a kid.
Well, he's still a kid, technically. He's a man baby.
Yeah, but that I think that occurred in, 2004?
Oh, did it?
No, I think it was earlier than that.
then
Oh,
that
no, I
would,
think it was. I'm pretty sure.
It might have
in
been the
that
90s,
case-
dude, because it
I don't
was before I gave up on Marvel.
I don't think so. I'll look it up.
Go.
well, because I was going to say if that was the case, though, then that would have then Buffy would have predated fucking
Yeah.
that storyline. But if it happened in the 90s, then yeah,
2000,
young Joss Whedon fucking.
A brief history of dead members of the Fantastic Four. It's from Time.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Slow news day.
Yeah. I'll read through this and let you know what's on.
While we do that, let's go over to the only character in the Fantastic Four who's good.
Mm-hmm.
Ben.
Exactly.
Guy gets shit on by cosmic rays. And yeah, he does have his emo moments about it.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, he was always the first one to stand up and be like, fuck it, it's clobbering time.
Yep. Time to pull up my big boy britches and...
Man up. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
2003, by the way.
Oh, damn.
Okay, yeah. So then whoever wrote that watched that episode of Buffy. But
But listen, I got to read this description. It's funny. The Thing is killed in Fantastic Four 508. 3 issues later, the rest of the team go to heaven to retrieve him from God, who is Jack Kirby. Yes, you read that right.
oh shit. Oh, okay. I guess fucking Mr. Fantastic has diagnosed himself on the autistic spectrum.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I like how he diagnosed himself. He's like, I think I'm autistic.
Yeah. Just every other autist does it, so why?
Yeah. I mean,
why not him? But yeah, Ben. I like Ben because he's a very relatable character. He's like a guy from the streets. Street smart and fucking, he's got a huge heart and a fucking sense of right and wrong and shit, and
he's from the streets, like for real.
Yeah.
Like he's legit from the streets.
oh yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it's like,
Exactly,
but
wasn't it?
I just thought of something. We were talking about we were talking about Reed a few minutes ago, and I got to bring up. You were talking about the being on the spectrum and things like that. Reed has a problem similar to what Tony Stark has. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Oh no, yeah.
But at the same time, it's like I'm going to do it anyway. Hey, I don't know why. I mean, it's a bad idea to build a fucking portal to the negative zone, but I'm going to do it anyway.
But why not? Yeah.
Yeah. Because reasons.
But yeah, Ben, what was he, a former Air Force, test pilot or some shit?
Yeah, former Air Force test pilot. That's why he was chosen to pilot the spacecraft.
And why, during Marvel Now, he joined the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to throw that out there before we get to the character. Dr. Doom was never in the spaceship with them. That never happened. He was... He had nothing to do with the Fantastic Four until a little bit later. So
Yeah.
Well, he had shit to do with Reed, but...
yeah, but as far as Victor Von Doom getting in, his origin tied to not exactly.
That's a very movie specific thing.
Yeah. So don't go out there and it's like, oh, I thought he was not on the spaceship. He wasn't doing nothing like that happened.
Well, considering at the time the Fantastic Four went into space, he would have been in Latveria taking over and learning shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like how to use magic. But, yeah. Okay. So, Ben Grimm, the only thing I don't like about him is over the years, his power level has fluctuated so bad.
Mm-hmm.
But that happens with everybody in Marvel, so I'm really able to overlook it. Like, literally, when you could say the worst thing about a character is a general fuck-up they do to every character, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
It's not to say he doesn't have his flaws, but his flaws work out in a very human way. Unlike Reed, who comes across as some sort of fucking stretchy robot.
Mm-hmm. I like I said, I don't know. I can't figure out how he had, Reed had time to, make Franklin.
Well, dude, he didn't have to be in the same room.
I know that, but still, it's like it seemed like that would be like the last thing on his mind. It's like, oh yeah, procreation.
Well, no, you know how it probably went down. This is one day, so he was like, I want a kid, and fucking Reed just hands her turkey baster.
No. Come on. Where's this Reed Richards? He created some kind of light ray that
right
that took his DNA and her DNA and genetic, and of course he had to fuck with it, and screw with the genetic potential and gave it X genes and shit like that, and fucking it became Franklin Richards.
Like, no part of me, even though they have 2 kids, no part of me for a moment believes that that Reed and Sue have ever had sex.
No, did you say Reed and Johnny?
I almost said Johnny. Actually, I almost said Johnny and Sue.
Oh, well, I think that has a higher chance of having had happened.
Dude,
don't go there. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
We'll lose our life.
I did it already. It's a dumb thing.
Let's get into the first of their children, Franklin.
Yeah.
The living deus ex machina of the Onslaught event.
I'm not really very familiar with this kid aside from the Heroes Reborn universe.
Okay. That whole I reject your reality and substitute my own.
Yeah, that was literally what he did.
He did that.
Well, that's his power.
Yeah.
Right. When Onslaught appeared to have destroyed the Avengers, he shifted them over to a pocket universe.
Yeah, he shifted them over to a pocket universe where they could hang out with wildcats and shit. And I don't know.
But honestly, Franklin has never had much character because he's a kid. He's a little kid.
He's like, and they tried to like age him, at different times, like
remember Fantastic Force, Hyperstorm?
Yep. Remember that? They made
that
him
was
older.
A shitty comic.
Yeah, they made him older, and and by the way, which was he got older thanks to the machinations of his grandfather. Yeah. Apparently, Reed's father is also a savant. So
of course.
And he can travel time and shit, so, it's like a... oh, my dear Lord.
Hurting my brain.
Oh, Jason, I just thought of something.
Yeah.
You remember the, all the Reed Richards, from different realities and
the
shit?
Council of Reeds or whatever they're called?
Oh, God. It basically...
The Council of Ricks?
Yeah, it predated the Council of Ricks.
Well, there's also the Council of Dooms and Kang and etc.
Yeah. They all come from different realities just to figure out what's going on. It's like, oh.
I hate everything about what you just said.
So do I.
Yeah.
But the thing was that Reed was too stupid not to be the Reedest Reed.
Right.
Where where Rick could at least be the Rickest Rick,
I will say this about that concept though, is that it demonstrates just how fucky and weird the Fantastic Four was capable of going, and how it lent itself to that kind of shit even. Mm-hmm. You could play in some weird fucking territory in the Fantastic Four if you really wanted to. Doesn't make it good.
I'm thinking about, so if you got infinite number of Reed Richardses, that kind of brain power, you could solve every worldly problem anywhere, and all they do is fuck around and talk about their dicks. I don't know what they do.
My dick is stretchier than yours.
Today, yeah. How far can we stretch our dicks, guys?
It was fun, but I will say that was interesting. There was some, because how it is in alternate realities. There were some Reeds that didn't have powers. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
I said I wish there was actually a Reed that was dumb as shit.
Yeah.
Retard.
As dumb as the other.
They just call him
Reeds are
retard.
Yeah, retard. Yeah.
Oh, the other.
It's hey guys, what are you doing today? Get out of here, retard.
Hey guys, what are you doing today? Oh God, somebody needs to change retard's diaper. Oh God. Get yourself retard. Yes.
I do have to admit, the most amusing and interesting part of the Fantastic Four as a concept has always been the villains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Doom. We could fucking go on for an hour just about Doom because we've done it before.
Yeah, I was gonna say on the previous incarnation of the show, we did a episode
2.
Couple episodes, huh?
Yeah.
I must not have been there for that one. This kind of one. But we did that one based on the best fucking Doom story ever told or some shit, didn't we?
Yeah.
Like, and he's a fascinating character. This guy is a fucking egomaniac, but he's also very capable.
Mm-hmm.
Very intelligent. He mastered the mystic arts.
If he could get out of his own way, you know.
Yeah.
Which is what they're trying to do.
So much good.
What they're doing now with him.
Yeah.
Because, he's got the Iron Man suit and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Isn't that him atoning for not just all that other shit, but, like, the whole Secret Wars thing, too?
Yeah.
Put it this way. He was basically, he was in line to be the next Sorcerer Supreme. That's how good he was at mysticism.
At 2 different points in time, mind you.
Yeah.
And this is the character who is so egotistical that a tiny scratch on his cheek will be enough to fucking...
Make him permanently scar himself.
Yeah.
Hey, let me put this scalding hot mask on my face.
Yeah.
Richards!
Are you sure you should be running Latveria, dude? Yeah. It burns.
It burns. Saw that Reed Richards falls like, dude, I literally saw you putting that mask on.
Yeah. I straight up told you not to do it, dude. Like, don't blame me, motherfucker.
But I mean,
yeah.
Their villains, like, they range from, shit like emperors and fucking intergalactic emperors to...
Then you get the Mole Man.
Yeah, you got the Mole Man. Like,
he could still be an interesting villain.
It's like, what did he do? Like, didn't he, kidnap Alicia Masters at one point, kind of thing?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But hasn't everybody?
I mean, she's blind. It's not really hard to do so.
Right. Yeah, she'll never see it coming, guys.
Yeah.
But,
well, speaking of Alicia Masters, hold on. You brought up another pretty good villain.
Puppet Master.
Yeah.
Her father, right?
Yeah. He basically can make... Yeah. He essentially has clay where he can, he can control, people if he makes a sculpture out of them.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool power.
They never used it to any great potential, though.
No. I mean, I think the worst he did was during when Alicia was going to marry Johnny. He controlled Ben and had Ben beat up Johnny, and people didn't think nothing of it because that used to be Ben's squeeze. So people just thought he finally had enough and got pissed off and started beating that shit out of Johnny.
He's like.
I'm sure there were some people I know I think the family was trying to stop him, but I'm sure there was some people Avengers and people like that. They were like, no, Ben, please stop, don't, please also, don't hurt also, Johnny, stop, please.
Yeah, he's beat the hell out of Johnny. Everybody's like, it's about fucking time.
Yeah,
they're fucking lining up behind Ben in that scene of fucking Airplane. Whack.
Get a hold of yourself.
They're lining up to take their shots and shit, but
especially Spider-Man because Johnny always fucked with Peter.
And that was actually that kind of reminds me of something we should have talked about before we segued into the villains, which was that the Fantastic Four wedding between Reed and Sue was actually a big deal in the books back then.
Yep, because they were one of the big things was because they were actually an outed and known superhero couple.
Mm-hmm.
People knew that Reed Richards was Mr. Fantastic. They knew that Sue Storm was the Invisible Woman. So,
right?
Yeah,
and it was it was attended by fucking everybody, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
the Avengers and shit.
The Watcher was there.
The Watcher, yeah.
It was considered a
significant event in human history.
Yeah, well, considering that it created a god of that union.
Oh, God. Yeah. Oh, you know what? Fuck that. Never mind. Let's not talk about that anymore.
But you know what's always bugged me? They got married and everything, but if you read the comics, never once did you really get the idea that Reed loved her.
Yeah, he always seemed distant. And there were times that love did actually shine through. There was times where it was very obvious, but for the most part, it just seemed like Reed, I'm going to go into my fucking lab. I'm going to create a fucking portal to the negative zone. I'm going to, because in a lot of ways, he's a futurist very much like Tony Stark. So he's in there doing that shit, and like Sue's out there like what, like fucking. She's got to have a guy on the side, right?
Namor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Johnny. No, I didn't go there, guys. No.
But
yeah.
What was it?
But
yeah, gosh, I just had the thought and it like sprung right out of my head. It'll come back to me.
That's usually how most of my thoughts are, except they're half formed. They're never. Yeah, they're never clear. But yeah, I'm finding it kind of hard to keep talking about this just because I'm so unfamiliar with the characters. That said, as we're talking about it, I feel like going back and checking out some issues.
There's some good stories.
Yeah.
I would definitely
not like the one where Sue became what was it, Malice?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the name of the character.
Yeah,
definitely one you want to check out. If I'm going to recommend any Fantastic Four book, it is This Man, This Monster.
Okay. Yes,
absolutely must recommend This Man, This Monster. It is a fantastic story,
and
it's about.
Can you give us a? Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah. And that's I don't want to spoil. I'll just read it, guys. That's all I'm saying. Just go find that story and read it. It is.
But that goes back to what we were saying about some of the most interesting characterization and shit being, embodied in Ben. So.
Yeah.
But the Fantastic Four is also housed, significant events in Marvel history, or been home to. Like, didn't Spider-Man first show up in Amazing Fantasy trying to get into the Fantastic Four's building and shit?
No, that was Spider-Man #1.
Spider-Man #1, right.
And then
that's right. I was confusing my books.
I don't think it was that one, but it was like later on where fucking Spider-Man, like his what do you call it? His outfit got messed up, and so they gave him the amazing Bagman.
Yeah, he was wearing a Fantastic Four suit and a bag over his head.
Oh, and had a sign that Johnny put on the back that said "Kick me."
Yeah.
So that was another thing, I will say that would always be a good, because that was always a good interaction was Spider-Man with Fantastic Four. That always
it's an example of how those characters are at their best, I think, when they're a part of something else.
Well, with Spider-Man specifically, because each of the Fantastic Four embodies something different about Spider-Man. You got his self-loathing with Ben, his jokester side with Johnny, his scientist side with Reed, and his little girly side with Sue.
Yeah.
Or the fact that he, to go a little deeper, that he just wants to disappear from the world. Yeah.
That's a thinker.
About that. Yeah. But I remember, that whole, I don't want to dredge this up, but, after, the whole, one more day, brand new day thing.
Yeah.
There was a caveat in that if people would remember him if they saw his face. After, they would know who Spider-Man was if they saw his face. And the Fantastic Four, they knew Spider-Man, but it was like, because of spatial awareness, because of the type of team they are, they were like, well, you're somebody, but, and it's really, it kind of pissing them off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And finally, they capture, I don't know, it was like Ben and Johnny get a hold of him, and they go to take his mask off, and then Sue makes his face invisible. She said, that's not you can't do that, stop.
Yeah, you guys know better than that.
And then he finally said it was okay, and she showed him, and then they finally, they all remembered that we're friends, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which is, hey, one more day.
Yeah,
brand new day. I want to find Quesada and blow his brains out. But
you said brand new Doy, and I think that works perfectly.
Yeah.
That
brand
whole
new.
thing was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, look, their conceit was that Peter couldn't be an effective Spider-Man if he was tied down in a relationship, and then they took and with children and all that shit, and then immediately thereafter they had him getting into relationships with other people. Okay, that was just a shock. That was an event to shock people and shit, and it was stupid. It was ill-considered because you could make fascinating stories within the framework of the family. You had the fucking Fantastic Four.
Yep. That's what I always chalked it up to laziness.
Yeah.
And I chalked it up to laziness and Joe Quesada's hard on for the Silver Age.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I will say this. I love some certain writers and shit. A lot of them need to get over their love for the Silver Age. Because it ties them down. Don't let it
hold them back. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it ties them down. Like, I'll say it. I like Barry Allen. Barry Allen should have never came back to life.
Yep.
I'm going to go ahead and say it. That was a significant event. That it had meaning. There was a reason behind it. There was no reason to bring him back.
Nope.
And that's the thing. A lot of these people come in, I remember when I was a kid and this, that, and the other. That's great. That was when you were a kid.
Right.
You don't see it was somebody was like, it kind of goes to this thing I saw on Twitter earlier today. Somebody was talking about how the Star Wars franchise is currently going, which is basically all it's doing is doing a retelling of the first saga, of the first trilogy, And do we really want to do that? We can't tell new stories? Is it impossible? You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah. Now I do see merit in like creators telling the kind of stories they want to tell and shit. Like, yeah. But at the same time, like if the stories you want to tell are the same stories we read, 40, 50 years ago.
Yeah.
Then you're not bringing the characters forward. You're not introducing any new interesting things. You want to maintain that status quo because that was what you knew. When I think you could write fantastic stories, the way they are, like with Peter and shit, for example, like that.
It was literally when I heard this. Okay, I'm going to say
they wanted to bring him back to how he was. Before he met Mary Jane. Let
me explain to this how they came to this conclusion. This is the best part to me, and I say best, and I mean worst, right?
Yeah.
So Quesada's whole reasoning was, I don't want him to be tied down by a marriage, but I don't want him to get a divorce either because that'll put a stigma on him.
Okay, as a divorced man, let me just say this: fuck you, Quesada.
And also, this is a studio...
and then, wait. I'm just real quick, Daryl. I want to complete this thought.
Yeah.
Okay. To backtrack real quick. I don't want him to be in a marriage, but I don't want him to get a divorce because that puts a stigma on him. I got it. Let's make a deal with the devil.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But
why not?
Because that sounds like something Spider-Man would do, right?
But writing
ultimate evil's right in front of me. Yeah. I'm going to give up my marriage so you can resurrect my decrepit aunt.
And erase my identity
because I'm a literal pussy.
But see, the thing is
that what it told me?
Stories could have been written about the ramifications of that, and we're talking about a studio who gave Gwen children with the Green Goblin.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake.
Yeah.
You're talking about stigmatizing characters and shit. You don't have any problem fucking around in that world as long as it's not like your flagship character and shit.
Yeah.
No, imagine, okay, they didn't need to get divorced, right? There was no reason why they should get divorced, but let's say they took it down that route. There could be some fascinating fucking ramifications and shit from that.
Yep.
And it makes Peter more human, and that was the thing that everybody loved about him, is that he was a human everyman. He made mistakes. He fucked up. Things didn't always work out for him.
Here's how, and I call this, Jason and I, we've talked this before, we call this fantasy booking. Here's what I would have done. If I had to be forced to do this, right, to, make the marriage go away. And the whole reason why he did it was because of Aunt May. And the thing that really pissed me off is they made Mary Jane be the one to do it. Right? That just...
I think Mary Jane just wanted an out.
I don't think so. I just think... Yeah. I think with Mary Jane, it had nothing to do with wanting an out. She was willing to make the sacrifice because she knew how much Peter loved Aunt May. Now, here's how I would have done it. I would have done... If I had to do it, where it had to be, I would have played it out that way. And then as soon as Brand New Day, in the first issue... Aunt May dies.
Yeah.
Like everything you fucking did was for nothing. You made a deal with the devil. You idiot.
Well, dude, let's look at another
situation going on right there.
Hold on a sec. Let's look at another classic Marvel superhero, Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
Made a deal with the devil to save the life of what was it, Crash Simpson or something like that?
Yeah.
What happened to him? Literally the same issue. He died anyway.
Yep. He didn't die from
cancer,
but he died
in an accident.
Yeah. So that seems to me that would have been perfect. It's like because that's you talk about Peter Parker can't never get his way. Well, that's one way he wouldn't get his fucking way. You make a deal with the devil, you deal with the fucking ramifications. You dumb shit.
But not only that, but it would have been fascinating to see that fallout. Like you made this huge sacrifice, and it was all for naught.
Yep.
And you're not even aware of that sacrifice anymore at this point, right?
Now,
the only person who knows is Mary Jane.
Yeah,
because Mary Jane said to Mephisto that she would remember everything.
Right. Oh, that explains a lot of the shit I read in Spider-Man afterward. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, here's the funny point. Spider-Man started out being a 15, 16-year-old, and Aunt May was like 70, 80 then.
Yeah.
Peter's now 30s. Aunt May is literally 140 at this point.
And that was the thing that made his willingness to do that so fucked up to me. This is a woman who's lived a long, healthy life. Mm-hmm. You've had years. You grew up with her. She's a woman who raised you. You know. And after Ben died, she fucking stepped up like a champ.
And I will say
she's lived a good life. Let her go.
And I'll say this about it. That woman is very good at keeping secrets because there's no fucking way you can tell me that she did not know he was Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah. After all that time?
Yeah, there's no fucking way. I mean, you're telling me he goes out and she don't look in his closet? Ever?
Yeah.
Come on. Come on.
He's not looking for
I went in here looking for that reefer and I found this. What is this?
Yeah. Or exactly. Even as a kid, growing up at that time and shit, there's no way she wouldn't have been, even if it was just cleaning up in there after him or whatever,
Because most of the time when we saw Peter, he was and of course when he got home, he was trying to hide the fact. So my thinking was, this is, like I said, I guess fan canon, but here's how I always pictured it. She knew the whole time, and she just kind of played along. Like he's, he said, "Hold on, Aunt May." She's literally standing outside the door, could walk in anytime she wants. She just kind of puts her hand on her, crosses her arms and just waits.
Yeah,
because she knows he's, and she already knows, but she's making him feel better about it.
Right.
And then that's what I always pictured about it.
and she's waiting for Peter to come around and tell her,
on his own terms,
instead of springing it on him. Yeah.
Yeah. Because my thinking is, if he ever told her, she was like, well, I knew the whole time, And in fact, I think they did that in the cartoon, the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon.
They also did it in the Ultimate Spider-Man comics, I think she found out.
Yeah, because she was because he was talking about Aunt May, and she said oh, you're finally telling me.
Yeah.
Like what? She said, I've known for a long time. I'm not stupid.
And I think that's essentially how it went down in the comics too.
Yeah. But, at first she was really pissed off, but then she's like, I think in the back of my mind I knew it the whole time.
Yeah. But like I said, getting back to what you're talking about, she'd lived a full life. At this point, she's 80s, maybe 90s at that point, There's no, I understand he was an assassin. I understand that. That's a terrible way to go. It's not natural. It's not anything like that. And I understand wanting to try to do something about it, but it just. And then when they tried to after the fact, the how they explained how people forgot his identity, that Reed Richards, Tony Stark, and Doctor Strange all got together and did some science magic and made people forget who he was.
Yeah.
That was the quote the quote non-devil reason that Mephisto made up to whatever. I'm like, this bullcrap.
But that storyline in particular embodied to me. I know we're no longer talking about the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, where the fuck did we go with this one?
but I think that it's a fascinating discussion, though, Jason. I think in that that storyline in particular demonstrates Marvel's unwillingness to kind of shake things up in a big way. Even within the framework of Secret Wars, the aftermath has been kind of cookie cutter by the book shit.
Back to the status quo, yeah.
Right. And it's
while adding their own BS
Yeah, like now Peter's well off or something.
Yeah.
He owns a company.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want Peter Parker should always suffer, except for now.
Yeah.
Now, the funny thing is, the solicitations I've seen for the upcoming stuff, apparently they're coming full circle. Parker Industries is now in the public eye, and people are like, is Peter Parker a threat or a menace? So Spider-Man goes back to the Daily Bugle. Why fucking do the story to begin with?
Yeah. It is.
And that is another thing. Even when they do try to shake things up a little bit, all roads lead back to the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I don't know. When you've got characters that are stuck in limbo, essentially, for 20, 30 years, why should I keep
it? Did try to shake it up, and then, like, that shake up is literally nothing. It's kind of like,
I'm saying, yeah.
It's kind of like Electric Blue Superman, It's like, we all knew that wasn't going to last.
Right.
I'm surprised it lasted, a year? I was surprised it lasted that long, in all honesty.
Even the death of Superman storyline itself, it was like one of those things where you knew eventually it was going to fucking... It's all going to come back.
Yep.
And we were going to be right back where we were before we started. I want to see characters go through changes, die, live organically. I want to see this shit like Peter should have just made the hard decision. Let her go.
Yep.
I think to bring this all back, because they don't change how people are, I think we need a high-profile superhero divorce.
Mm-hmm.
Because
maybe
it's not... exactly.
Maybe Sue and Reed,
It's not a stigma. I'm divorced, and nobody thinks any less of me for it.
No.
If anything, people think more of me that I got rid of my damn wife.
Yeah, exactly.
It's more, and like I said, 9 times out of 10, a divorce is literally like, okay, this didn't work out like we thought it was going to.
Right.
Yeah.
We were super into this at first, and the reality sunk in.
And most of the time, and like I said, most of the time, I'm not saying every time, granted, because, people can hate each other after a while, but
yeah.
Most of the time, it's like they were in love with the idea and not with the person.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And
which is actually why my marriage dissolved.
Right. So you could, if you had a situation like that with Reed and Sue, it could be like, she's finally saying, I'm tired of being the second fiddle in this, your first love is science.
And there's nothing saying it needs to split up the Fantastic Four or that Reed and Sue they could still be friends.
Yeah, they could still be friends. I mean, they got kids together. I mean, it's not like they would, be out of each other's lives. It was just...
But considering that Marvel kind of nixed them all together, why not have that? Split up the Fantastic Four. No longer are they the Fantastic Four, but they are, supporting characters in other places where they fucking, they're stronger anyway.
I'll tell you the truth. Some of the better Fantastic Four stories was when the Fantastic Four was gone and they had to have a new Fantastic Four.
Right. Yeah, what was it? Like Spider-Man, Wolverine, Ghost Rider?
Spider-Man, Wolverine, Hulk, and Ghost Rider. Yeah.
Grey Hulk. Specifically,
some people
they
might
did
say
one with Professor Hulk too. But still, yeah.
Some people might say that that gets rid of the whole family dynamic thing. But if that family dynamic is the only thing making them compelling, then we got a problem, right?
Right. Exactly.
So, split that up. Fucking explore other things. Have them do solo books. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Apparently, they're going back to having Marvel 2-in-1.
Okay,
that'll be cool.
And one of them is supposed, I think every issue or some shit, like the backbone is going to be Ben and Johnny.
Okay, I can see that.
This is just what I've read. Don't take it more than a grain of salt, but
yeah,
like their dynamics interesting.
I mean, like when they did the second incarnation of the new Fantastic Four, it was cool because the reason why they were formed was because Doctor Strange brought them together.
Right.
And the reason why was because the previous issue, Johnny did something really stupid. He was fighting a villain and he went supernova in New York.
Oh, wow.
And he blew up Empire State University.
Oh.
And then for a while, Reed and Sue left the Fantastic Four and were replaced by Black Panther and Storm.
Yep.
Like, literally just trading out one married dynamic for...
Another one, yep.
Well, I'm trying to find a way to skirt saying a minority variant like Marvel likes to do.
Yeah, well, And then there was a while, Thing wasn't on the team, and She-Hulk became a member of the Fantastic Four.
Exactly.
I mean...
She-Hulk. Now her book is just the Hulk.
They're renaming back to She-Hulk.
Okay. It's still a stupid book, though.
It is.
Read, if you haven't watched Diversity and Comics YouTube
That
channel.
is a great channel. People should
he tends to ramble on a little bit, but it's still really fascinating shit. And he talks a lot about, he reviews these comics and kind of
he was the one that gave, he had the theory that Riri Williams is actually a supervillain.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And it would fit.
It would fit perfectly. Yep.
He talks about how they brought Blade back and then used him as a delivery man.
And then and then I think he launched into Squirrel Girl. What is?
Yeah.
Literally was what is this?
Yeah.
I can't explain what this is. This is terrible.
And he even reviewed one of the more recent Hulk books, and it features a plot line where there's some mutagen or something, and these guys tried to give it to some online cook, some YouTube cook or something like that to gain awareness of it amongst the community and get money or something
That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, and the dialogue's all retarded and the art's
I mean it'd be one thing if it was like that, if it was like that, that marijuana bud that I showed Jason the other day.
Oh, yeah. I want it.
I can see Jason jumping all over that, and he's like, "I'll smoke this on camera. I don't care."
Yeah, exactly.
But it's like, hey, fam, here's an ingredient. We're not going to tell you what it is. Just put it in your food. It's fine.
Well, and the host of that show was gay because that had to be a thing.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they went way out of their way to point it out too, right?
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But diversity and comics. That's the YouTube channel. Go check it out.
Yeah. We don't usually shill for other people, but we'll shill for them.
Guys, I think we've hit all
exhausted.
all the salient talking points we had to begin with.
Yep.
Yeah. And we did diverge, but I think that the best times I've had talking to you guys about comics is when we just sit TS and just let the conversation go where it's going. So, I'm all for it. So I think it was a good one.
I think at this point we could simply say, go support your local comic shop, support the Comic Book Legal Defense Fund. Check out that YouTuber. What was it again?
Diversity and comics.
Yeah, Diversity and Comics. So
yeah,
definitely check him out. He's got some.
I hope to one day be able to say again, make mine Marvel.
Exactly.
Right now, it's make mine independent.
Yeah, exactly.
Make mine IDW.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Make mine anything but Marvel.
Real quick, before you go, Jason.
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing that some of the best stories in comics are coming from licensed properties?
And I think that's an episode for another time. Definitely.
Yeah. That should be next week's episode. So look forward to it.
Oh, fuck yeah. IDW in particular. Ooh,
yeah. Mwah. Yeah. Exactly. And we'll see you next time.